Hey guys, this is Ricci-Lee, the dance sport dietitian of A Taste of Health, and I am back this week coming to you from Heart of America Dance Competition. So I wanted to talk to you guys because we've already done a video about how to fuel at a competition. So I want to talk about how to fuel at the end of a competition day. So what I want to talk about is a couple different categories. So number one, I want to talk about at the end of a competition day when you still have to compete the next day. On those days, we feel pretty hungry by the time we're done dancing, even if we fueled consistently throughout the day. So a lot of the time we end up going for like a nice, heavy, fatty meal just because we want to feel satiated and we feel like our body's asking for it because we've burned so many calories, we've burned a lot of energy, our body feels like, I need something heavy. In that situation, a lot of the time then we'll go and we'll get burgers and pizza and super heavy food, which is totally fine to do sometimes. But at the end of that, then when we have to dance the next day, then we don't feel as good, we feel more sluggish, and then we can't bring as much to that next day of competition. So I would suggest, even if you need to eat a bigger meal at the end of a competition day, which I would definitely suggest, I would say keep it to foods that feel refreshing or feel filling but feel healthy in your system. So, a nice piece of chicken or fish with a side of, if you have some like roasted potatoes or a nice refreshing starch. And this would be a good opportunity to include some vegetables. So, if they have a good side of steamed vegetables or stir-fried vegetables, roasted vegetables, that would be a really good opportunity. Now, I also want to talk about that very last day of competition. So when it's that very last day of competition, then a lot of the time we have that after party. And there generally tends to be things like pizza and mac and cheese and pasta and things like that, which is great because again, we've had a lot of time burning a lot of fuel throughout the day. And so when we're in that scenario, I would say it's okay to eat those things, especially, you're probably not going back to a hard day of competing or dancing the next day. So really think about, if you're going to choose those options at an after party, a lot of the time there's not a lot of food available. So you're either choosing the food at the after party or you're ordering, from one of the few places that's open at 1 o'clock in the morning. If you're going to do this though, I would suggest choosing a portion size that feels good. So making sure we're not just eating as quickly as possible because we feel super hungry and we're super ready to eat because we haven't had kind of that normalized schedule. I would say making sure you try and sit down or stand at one of the tables at the after party and eat, take a bite, socialize, and really pay attention to each bite that you're eating. So then the very last part that I want to recommend is focusing on the alcohol intake. So a lot of the time drinks tend to be involved, whether it's post-competition day or post-competition weekend, and we're socializing, we're having drinks, which is again totally fine, but really making sure you're not allowing the environment to challenge you or trigger you to maybe have more drinks than feels comfortable for you. So if you're someone that feels like I'm gonna feel sluggish the next day, I'm not gonna feel as good, but I really want that drink, then again, it's fine to have that drink, but maybe think about having a drink and spacing it out with some water in between each drink that you're having, or having your first drink, and then if that is your max normally, or 2 drinks is your max normally, then switching over to something like club soda with lime, something that feels like an alcoholic type structure, but without the alcohol in it. So these are just a few tips to kind of get you through a post-competition day or post-competition weekend. If you have more questions, I would love to answer them, but I hope to see you all throughout the course of the weekend if you're here, or I look forward to seeing more of you around and giving you more tips.